What's going on, guys? Welcome to your 20th tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to build a Sentinel controlled program. Now let me explain to you guys what that is. You remember in the last tutorial where we built that program and we ran a loop 5 times, and each time we allowed the user to enter a number? Well, sometimes we're going to want to build programs where we don't know how many times the user wants to enter a number. So if you we're calculating the average grades for kids in your class, you know how many kids are in your class. If you were calculating the average age of people in your family, you know how many people in your family. But if we built a program and we just sold it to everyone in the world, everyone's family has a different size. Every teacher's class size is different, so we don't know exactly how long to make that loop last. So what we do instead is we give it a special code, and this code is usually something like -1. And we use this because ages and weights and number of things cannot be -1. So whenever we enter -1, this is when our program knows to stop and make its calculations or do whatever it does. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to be building a program that we enter the ages of a bunch of people. How many, we don't know yet, but we're going to enter the ages of a bunch of people. What our program is going to do is figure out how many people we entered and calculate the average age of all those people. So let's go ahead, and it's pretty much an age averager. If I was to make this program, I would name it Age Averager 5.0. Why 5.0? I don't know, I just like 5. So let's go ahead, and we're going to need some variables. The first variable we need is someplace for the user to enter and store that age, each age at a time. So they're going to enter someone's age like 32. We're going to store it in the variable age. After this, we need some way to keep track of all those ages a total. So if they enter 32, then 32. We want this to store the total, which would be 64, because we're going to be averaging it later on. So int, just name it like age total. And this, of course, is equal to 0 first, but it's going to be the total of everyone's age combined. And the third thing we need to keep track of is how many people did they enter. So you take the total over how many people they entered, and this gives us the average age. So int number of people entered. And I don't really like making variables that long because it's easy to make a typo the longer your variable is, but it's descriptive for this tutorial. So the first thing we want to do is just write a prompt on the screen. Cout enter first person's age, or -1 to quit. So what we're going to be doing is our code is -1. Whenever we get the input -1 from the user, we know that they want to quit the program. So let's go ahead and then give them something to enter, age. So they're going to enter a number, and it's going to be stored in the variable age. So now we just need to test to make sure it's not equal to -1. And we need to loop this program as many times as possible as long as the value is not equal to -1. So as long as age is not equal to -1, go ahead and run this program. And at the heart of this program is this. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking that age total, and it's going to be a running total of the old age total plus the new value that they entered for age. So the first time, say they enter 6, it's going to be 0 plus 6. The next time they enter 10, it's going to be 6 plus 10. So the total would be 16. So then when we divide it by the number of people, which would be 2, their average age is 8. So let's go ahead, and now each time this loop runs, it means that they entered a new person. So let's go ahead and just write number of people entered plus plus, because remember, plus plus is the same as adding 1 to it each time. So now we said, alright, our age total is good and the number of people entered is good. So now every time we run this loop, we want to give them another opportunity to hit -1 or enter someone's age. So make another cout and just write something like enter next person's age, or -1 to quit. So right now they're going to enter -1 or someone's age, and let's just go ahead and end that line. So now, semicolon, there we go. So now we're going to store that value in age. So they're going to keep running this, and every time it runs, they're going to have a chance to input an age. what this loop is going to do is check, and it's going to run the loop over and over and over and over again until the user enters -1. Once they enter -1, it's going to say, alright, that's my sign to bail out of this loop and go ahead and make my calculations. So for calculations, let's first go ahead and make sure our program is going to work properly by saying, let's first tell them number of people entered. And I know I spelled that wrong. Big deal. Who cares? And now we just output number of people entered. Looks good. End line. And after this, what we want to do is we want to find the average age of all those people. So cout average age, and then we just go ahead, and the formula for average age is age total over number of people entered. For example, if your age total is 100 and you entered 10 people, then the average age would be 10. So let's go ahead and run this program first to see if it works, see if I forgot any semicolons or anything. Alright, so the program is up and running. It looks good. So what I like to do whenever I build programs like this is I like to enter values that I already can calculate in my head just to make sure that the computer is calculating. So let's go ahead and enter a person with the age of 10, the person with the age of 20, and a person with the age of 30. Now I know that whenever I average these together, 10, 20, and 30, well, that's 60. So 60 divided by 3 is 20. So I'm going to be expecting 20. And that way I know that my program's working correctly. So let's go ahead and quit by hitting -1 and go ahead and hit enter. And it says number of people entered, 3, which is correct, 10, 20, and 30. Average age of them is 20 because 60 divided by 3 is 20. So that is pretty cool, and our program works fine. Number of people entered, it got that right, and it calculated their average age right. So that's what I like to do before I enter big numbers like 87, 68, 5, and all those. Like 5's a real big number. So anyways, how our program worked is this. What we did is we built 3 variables. Well, let me just go ahead and skip to the good stuff. It says, alright, enter the first person's age. And we went ahead and we entered 10 right here. So it says, alright, is 10 equal to -1? Nope. So let's go ahead and run this right here. I'm going to go ahead and store 10 in age total and change the number of people entered to 1. And now go ahead and give me another age. Well, we went ahead and we entered 20. So now 20 plus 10, our age total was now 30. And our number of people entered was 2. So it said, alright, give it to me again. We entered 30. So now our age total was 30 plus 30, which is 60, and number of people entered was 3. So then it said, alright, now give me another age, or -1 to quit. We gave it -1 to quit, so it bailed out of this loop, and it went ahead and just make the calculations. For this calculation, it just printed out the number of people entered, which was 3. And for this one, it said the age total, which was 60, divided by the number of people entered, which was of course 3. 60 over 3 is of course 20. So again, that is called a Sentinel control loop because we can run this program and it doesn't matter how many numbers we enter. You know, we're not limited to 5 or 10 or anything. As soon as we hit -1, it calculates how many people we entered and their average age. So again, this is a much more dynamic program in the sense that you're not only limited to a certain number, but you can disperse this, maybe a bunch of different types of people, and it doesn't matter their sample size. Any amount of people in this program is still going to continue to work fine. So that is the beauty of a Sentinel controlled program. These are the loops that you're going to be using more often rather than, a fixed number. So get used to it, become familiar with it, and once you are, you're good to go. So for now, that's all I have for you guys. In the next tutorial, don't know what I'm going to be covering, but my throat is dry now, so I need to go get a drink of water, and you need to watch more of my videos or something. I don't know. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.